Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple A's podcast. I am your host who bleeds purple and gold, Isaac here. The Vikings, they are now, they don't have to worry about being eliminated from playoff contention or anything because they already punched their ticket to the playoffs. But the Vikings still control their own destiny. The last three games of the regular season is really crucial for the Vikings in order to not only take the NFC North, which is part of it, but also a chance to get the number one seed of the NFC. So the Vikings will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Finally, the an afternoon game. They finally get an afternoon game at Lumen Field. So let's get into it basically though, and then we'll get into a little bit of a playoff picture. Starting off with the Vikings defense versus the Seattle Seahawks offense. Now you gotta really respect the Seattle Seahawks offense because they've been putting up some crooked numbers, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Seattle Seahawks offense. It's been like off and on at some point. So the but I believe one of their main weapons right now is Zach Charbonnet. He's absolutely been really, really solid. The last three games, he's averaged 6.1 yards per carry the last three games that he's played. So the the seven front needs to do their best to stop Zach Charbonnet, one of their running backs. I mean, they have a very solid run game with Charbonnet as the RB1 right now. So that's basically what I think you need to do in order to take the main weapons away. It's going to be hard enough, to take the other weapons away. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett have not just been really a big factor. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, I believe their second year wide receiver, has been super solid. And those three are definitely going to be, they're not going to be easy to cover, which I doubt. But you need to do your best to get Zach Charbonnet. And also, we really don't know which quarterback is really going to play for the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith got hurt against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. So it's either going to be Sam Howell or Geno Smith. I think the Vikings, they have a better chance of winning with Sam Howell at quarterback, I think, though. But Geno Smith is still kind of struggling as a Seattle Seahawks quarterback. He's been up and down, but he's been putting up some decent crooked numbers, though, to be honest with you. So I think he's pretty decent. So you need to bring continuous pressure to these guys so they can't get to the receivers off. Just like they did with Caleb Williams. Do the exact same thing you did with Caleb. Is not allow him to have breathing room and to make them fight for their life. So yeah, because the Seattle Seahawks offensive line it's decent. It's not all that great really though. So you're going to definitely have a very good defensive game if you do stop Geno Smith and pressure him. And so now we get to the Vikings. So yeah, those are basically my thing. I don't expect the cornerbacks really to do much. So we'll get to the Vikings offense and the Seahawks defense. Now basically though, the Seahawks defense, they're okay. They're basically like in the middle of they're like in the middle rankings, most of them. Basically though, the Seattle Seahawks, though, I feel like their weakness and their main weakness, besides the pass defense, which their pass defense is pretty respectable, with with Julian Love at safety, with Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. So the Vikings need to respect the Seahawks. So Sam Darnold needs to respect the Seahawks secondary and just pick the poison with who they're going to go up against. I mean, Jordan Love was able to go off against the Seahawks defense. So I feel like I feel pretty good about Sam Darnold's chance about going off on this secondary of the Seahawks. So we'll see how it goes, though. Maybe some plays underneath instead of like big time explosive plays. Maybe that's what the Vikings need to do in order to win against the Seattle Seahawks. And then also the Vikings need to run the ball more than pass it, though, I feel like, because the Seahawks run defense, the Seahawks have given up an average of 4.8 yards per carry. That's honestly not that great, really. So Aaron Jones is definitely going to have a big time game. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks 4-man rush is like, okay. I mean, they're not the greatest, though, really, honestly. So I don't expect the offensive line to do much, but I expect the Aaron Jones and Cam Akers to go off on the Seahawks. So basically, though, I mean, the Vikings, I think they outclassed the Seattle Seahawks in every way. So I think they do get the win. I say they win. I'm going to say 28-14. I think Vikings win 28-14 over the Seattle Seahawks in the afternoon. So basically, for the Vikings to control their own destiny from here, like I said, they do have like the number 5 seed right now, because the Lions by default have the NFC North right now. They're first by default. So, which is understandably so. The Vikings, though, if they have to win out, because if the Lions were to lose 2 games against the 49ers and the Bears, I'm not really 100% sure, but I think, though, that the Vikings have the NFC North wrapped up if they win against the Seahawks and the Packers. So that means they would have the number 1 seed. I mean, maybe not the number 1 seed, but the NFC North. But if you want to talk about them, if you want to talk about the number 1 seed, they have to win all 3 games. And I think they have the head-to-head over the Eagles. So that means either way, if the Eagles do win out, I mean, the Vikings, they have the number 1 seed all locked up. And but that doesn't, even if the Lions do lose one more game, and if you do win 2 games in a row or all games, that means you have the NFC North. So nothing matters unless the Vikings win all their games. So that's basically like the main thing the Vikings have to do. They play against the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Lions. So it's definitely a tough schedule. You know, Seahawks are no joke, really. They're nobody to sleep on. The Packers, they're definitely a tough team, and the Lions, they are definitely a tough team. So the Vikings control their own destiny. Nothing else matters unless the Vikings handle business, which I trust Kevin O'Connell and company to do exactly that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol Vikings.